Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right. Swirls more cup than sauce.
It's so good. Oh God, that's like worthy of adding to the intro of the podcast. Like straight up. Like.
I'll do it.
Lights, camera, action.
UPS, you piece of shit.
I was like, you know what I want to do one day? I want to join a gang.
We're in 2022. Upgrade the cameras.
Yeah.
We can see Saturn and shit, but like I can't get a clear picture of someone robbing the gas station.
That was the greatest night in the history of television.
Throat clear.
Throat, mine, maybe not. No, I'm just kidding.
There it
It
is.
is. Let it
I
out.
said that at the same time.
There she is.
There she is. Potential controversial topic.
Yes.
It's always been a sensitive subject, and that is the subject of tipping. Since the dawn of service,
Yeah.
people have waged war on those who don't tip,
Yeah.
and those who don't tip look at those who do tip and think, why are you tipping?
Sure.
I think waiters, waitresses, people in the service industry absolutely deserve tips because they're underpaid.
Yeah.
They're minimum wage wise. However, we are at a point where like it's become a meme, obviously. Everywhere on social media, you've seen like people do something and then they flip their phone around and it's like 10, 15, 20%.
Right. Hold the door open.
Yeah. And then
You know?
it's just going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
And they flip it around. And it's been a meme, but it's like not even a joke anymore.
No.
They're literally asking for tips for everything now.
Yes.
Give you an example. I went to a club here in town, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, the bartender? Nope.
No.
I would have tipped the bartender who made me a drink.
Of course.
If I got a drink. That's absolutely who I would tip. No. The person who was asking for a tip was the lady at the front who you pay money to get into the club for, and she stamps your wrist. That's who wanted a tip.
For stamping the wrist.
For taking my money, already taking my money.
Yep.
She's not doing anything else.
Right.
She's standing at the front. She's not even the guy that's doing security to make sure everyone's safe with the wand.
Yeah.
She's just standing there at the front, takes your money, stamps your hand. Checks your ID, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't remember who. I think she must have checked her ID.
Right.
Okay, so at the most, she has to do a little bit of math. But that's it.
And you know, they probably even have like a piece of paper there, like anyone born before this day can't get in. So
Exactly.
it's probably just like, oh, check the thing. All right, you're good.
Yeah. At most, she has to know what day it is.
Right.
Right. And yeah, she wanted a tip. Flipped it around. Choose a percentage.
Just going to ask you a couple questions.
Yep. With just
Right.
in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks that's a little bit ridiculous?
That's the most ridiculous one I think I've heard.
Right.
I think that's, as of right now, that takes the number one spot.
Because, I don't think I've actually even heard anyone say anything outside the norm of what you would tip before.
Sure.
I just know it's been a meme. And so I was like, wow, is this an actual thing right now?
It was an eye opener.
It was.
It was an eye opener.
As someone who was in the food service as yourself,
Yeah.
what's your opinion on something like that? Like, you can get into the more of the details later, but I'm sure you're an advocate for tipping
Of course.
because you've been there. So that's great because you're an insider. You're able to have that stance and say like, oh yeah, like tip because we make shit money.
Right.
But to hear you also say you think it's a little bit ridiculous is good because I feel like your voice matters a little bit more than mine in that area.
As a black server, as a black server in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've had to live off tips. I've had to live off tips. I've had to pay rent with tips. I've had to buy drugs with tips.
The
you
usual,
know?
the basics.
the stuff that you do when you get tips.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Okay, so one of my first things about that is, to me, I feel like that gives an excuse for the owner of the club to pay that person less.
Yes.
Because they tell them, well, we add the tip on there. So instead of paying you the wage that you just deserve, like that person, and I don't know, but I mean, I'd say they should at least be able to make $15 to $16 an hour.
For sure.
Why not? I mean,
sure.
like, it's a club. They're probably banking money. They're probably rolling in fucking money. It's a fucking club. People have to pay an arm and a leg just to get in.
It's true.
They pay a foot and a hand just for a drink. Like that. They have fuck tons of money. And yes, of course you tip the bartender. And hell, if the security guard gave you one of those things, I might be so inclined, because it's a club in downtown Albuquerque.
Yep.
And that's a hard job.
That's a tough job. That's like airport security.
Oh, yeah, man. Like pretty much the same thing. Like you got to look out for, the Unabomber and all sorts of those things. No, but the person who sits there and checks your ID and stamps your hand, I'm sorry, but that's not tippable. And here's the other problem. Because you said so you're getting, like, let's say you're paying for you and your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is probably like $40. And then it hits you with the percentages. Well, like 20% of $40, like that's a pretty hefty tip. I mean, it's not super, but like, you know what I mean?
To walk into a club.
Yeah.
And that's not even paying for the drinks yet.
Exactly. Like, so you're ending up with a $46 entrance if you are inclined to tip.
Yeah.
And I think it plays on people's inability to say no as well.
I'm so glad you said that.
You know what it is? Like, it's
I
like,
do.
when you get that, it's people, because you don't want to look bad.
Right.
You don't want to be the guy who just hits no tip. Although I'll hit that no tip every once in a while, And yesterday, I went to Casa Taco and I was getting takeout, and I guess maybe they could tell you, who the tips go to, because if it does go to the cook, maybe I am a little more inclined to tippity tip.
Yeah.
But I was at Casa Taco and my food order was a pretty hefty price, and then it gives me the percentages, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to tip $8 for you to just put my food in a bag.
No.
Okay. And what I did was I made a custom tip and I did $4.
There you go.
Because I still felt bad. I didn't want to not do it, but I wasn't about to do $8.
With the way the world's going, I can already see the day comes when that no custom tip button is gone.
Ooh.
No custom tip button.
I'll fucking tell him to cancel the charge.
or they program it to where it's like 10, 15, 20%, and the custom tip button can only be greater than 20%.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine that day? I can.
That's going to be a day. Look, the economy is already shit.
It's dog shit.
I mean, everyone's already poor. The people who are asking for the tip is poor. I'm poor. Mm-hmm. And I want to take my lady to a night of dancing.
Yep.
And we were just able to scrape by for some cat food.
Yeah.
So our cats can live. we passed on food for ourselves so our cat could live.
Yeah, right. You guys are sharing the cat food now?
Yeah, and we just want to dance.
Yeah.
And we just want to dance the night away.
Tacos and dancing, salsa and salsa. That night is going to be 100 plus.
That's, oh, God.
For two people, easily.
Oh, my God.
I've seen the price of street tacos.
Oh, you know it.
It's fucked up.
For the tiniest.
Palm-sized tacos nowadays are you're paying easily 15 and up.
That's 15 plus.
Times 2, that's 30. Mm-hmm. Plus a tip, 36 to 38.
Yeah.
How much you got to pay in to get to salsa dance? Probably 15 to 20 per person.
Easy.
Then you might buy a drink while you're there or whatever.
Or something.
I mean, and then you want me to... What, am I going to tip the person who let me into the salsa dancing place?
Oh, they will want you that.
Yeah.
They want that.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I'm really glad you mentioned that thing though about like them seeing you in person. I think is like it's almost like a little guilt trip.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how I felt before all this happened. I always thought if it was a situation where I didn't want to be faced with that, I'll just pay with cash so that they can't flip that screen around on me. And so I would do that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like the St. Jude situation. When you're
Right.
checking out at the grocery store and they're like, hey, do you want to save a child's life for an extra 30 cents? And then you're an asshole if you say no.
Right.
What's 30 cents?
Yeah.
Right. So it's definitely that thing because I'm like, I just ordered a smoothie. The smoothie itself is already $8
Right.
dude. But I got to tip the guy because I don't want them to spit in my smoothie back there.
Yeah.
They're looking at me in the eye. They know the guy who's not tipping by face.
Your $8 just became $10.
Easily.
And maybe you don't have $10. Maybe you have $8.
And it sounds like a frugal little bitch move.
Right.
To be complaining about, well, if you can't afford to pay $8 for a smoothie, you shouldn't be getting a smoothie. I know. Like, I could pay the same amount at the grocery store probably and get myself several smoothies.
Sure.
But sometimes the hustle and bustle of life, you're paying for the convenience.
Yeah.
You're paying for the, I just need to swing by and pick this up real quick.
Yeah.
So then I guess, that's where the money's going.
Yeah.
But you thought mine was ridiculous. This one by far is the most ridiculous.
I'm ready.
Even more ridiculous than what I just read to you or told you.
I'm ready.
So I was tagged in this. This is a radio host, and he made a post, and it says, "This was our topic of discussion this morning on the show. So isn't it bad enough that the suggested tips everywhere have gone up in price, and fast food places are asking you to tip extra when you get your food that they are supposed to give you anyway? Now some businesses, self-checkout machines, now ask you for a tip for checking yourself out. What? Really? I just did all the work, saved you money on a clerk doing it myself, not the machine. Now the machine wants a tip for all my work at their business. I say no freaking way, but I didn't say freaking. Your thoughts on this? Are you going to tip a self-service checkout machine?"
Wow.
I have not seen that yet.
Wow.
I use self-checkout pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And I have not seen that yet. But if that is going on somewhere, you got me fucked up.
Yep.
Tipping a self-checkout machine? Mm-hmm. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No.
When the Christian people say the devil is here,
Yeah.
this is what makes me go, you know what? They might be right.
They're probably right. When I see that kind of shit, 100%.
They might be right.
That's by far the most ridiculous.
Yeah, that's going to be a big no. That's going to be a big no. And I stay with like the idea that it's going to become an excuse to pay people less. Like they already lose jobs, like he said, by having self-checkout. So there's going to be less people employed making a living wage.
Yeah, you don't have to pay a machine hourly.
You don't got to pay a machine
benefits.
hourly. No.
Yeah.
No.
Healthcare, none of that.
So what they're gonna do, and especially at a big box store like a Walmart, it's like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna split the tips between everyone who was working on that shift.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go to, I don't know, the manager to pay their bonus or something,
Right. Right.
CEO gets a nice cut.
To Big Walton from Wally, and that's evil.
It is.
That's evil. No, yeah, that's gonna be a big no for me. I mean, yeah, like there's just no way that you can justify that. I mean, that's truly, and it's like he said, it's like I'm doing the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe if they ask for a tip for the person who, because that's, they're over there, they're scanning, and those motherfuckers are fast.
They are.
They're scanning the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
You got the the kid with his first job bagging it up. I might tip them.
Yeah.
But if it's just me, that's going to be a big no.
Yeah. No. And that's finally a situation where I can say no in confidence. I'm not worried what the machine thinks of me, although maybe we should be.
Ooh.
But maybe the tips go to the, you know how they always have like one actual person who's there just for check IDs or to help.
Sure.
Maybe the tips go to that person.
Yeah.
But still, that to me, just pay that person what they deserve.
Yeah.
Give them a good hourly wage to stand there and do that job. And do not make a machine ask me for tips for doing all the work myself.
Yeah.
I'm scanning the shit. I'm bagging my shit.
Yep.
I got to look up the stuff for produce. Right?
Yep.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, because that person, you know, God bless them. You know, sometimes you see them, they're getting pulled in 5 different directions. People are like, hey, you know, what the fuck? And people are being annoying, and I'm always nice to them. I'm like, hey, you know, it's telling me that it does, the weight isn't, you know, calculating. Could you just bypass it? You know, but that's the thing is, I mean, like, can we just pay everyone enough money to live?
Yeah.
Can we just pay everyone enough money to live life? Okay. Give that person 15 to 16 an hour.
Yep.
At least.
Which
give everyone.
It doesn't even get by anymore.
Oh, no. I couldn't live off that.
No.
You can't. So you have to get either a roommate or imagine. And then what if you have a kid?
Oh,
a single parent with a kid.
Forget it. 15 an hour, you're on the streets.
You're fucked.
Yep.
You and that kid on the streets, fucking, you know, stepping on heroin needles.
Yeah. You need, especially if you're working at a Walmart.
Yeah.
You need 2.5 to 3 streams of income at that rate.
Yeah.
Just to live.
Yeah.
Now that's no room for cushion or comfort.
No.
That's just to like, I was able to crack open a can of beans tonight.
Some porridge.
Yeah. Some porridge. Some Tiny Tim looking ass meals.
Some damn Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Tiny Tim type dinner.
The Tiny Tim frozen dinners. That should be a new budget friendly like frozen prepackaged kind of deal.
Yeah, it'll be like it's like slop.
Yeah.
Porridge. Green beans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know what they
something of that nature.
All the scraps from the other like frozen dinners that didn't get approved
from like out what they throw away outside the factory.
Yeah,
you know,
the big like heavy set guy with the white apron. It's a mess, and he goes outside and he's like, and he always dumps the big gray bin out.
That's what he does.
Instead of that, you just put that in a frozen dinner plate,
and pretty soon they'll be asking you to tip that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. If you happen to just be walking down that alleyway at the time, he'll dump that shit out and go, "Oh, just a few questions."
Just a few questions. I actually used to work takeout at BJ's Brewhouse. Like,
okay.
At BJ's, like, obviously you have the serving area, you know, but they have just like the takeout window. I used to just take online orders, call in orders, and tipping. It was nice to get a tip. That was exciting, but even I didn't really expect it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that my job was really just to stand there, take the order, put it in a bag, make sure it had some silverware and some napkins.
Yep.
Bring it out to the car. And that's when I would usually get my tips the most, if it was curbside pickup.
Right.
You know? Would be to take it out to the car. Side note, I used to have my drug dealers go to the curbside pickup and bring me drugs. But that's a different story.
Different. Yeah.
It was smart.
Yeah, right.
So that's a fun story.
Get tipped for that for sure.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. A little curbside pickup.
Yeah.
You know, a little curbside pickup.
I like it.
But even then, my point being, I didn't always expect to get tipped. I didn't think I was going to get tipped like the servers on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, why would I? Why would I?
Right.
Like, I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off, getting fucking ranch and fucking refills for little shitty kids who fucking suck down strawberry lemonades, you know? So I think we need to manage expectations. Like, I'll probably tip you if you're doing a job that doesn't require as much work, but I'm not going to tip you. I'm probably not going to hit the 20.
Right.
And sometimes I'll customize tip and we're
we're
throwing $1 in there. And I like to tip. And I like to tip anyone who has a tip to be offered, except the fucking door guy at FX. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Never fucking tipping anyone like that. And I'm probably not tipping self-checkout line.
No.
But if there's an opportunity to tip, I will tip, but I'm not gonna tip a fuck ton I'm not gonna tip the same way I would tip a server for you just standing at a counter.
For sure. Tipping the bartender at a club? Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely.
Tipping the person who stamps my hand at the club?
No.
No. What the fuck? Are you kidding?
No.
Get the fuck out. You want me to tip the parking meter next?
Right.
Come on.
And they probably will.
And they probably will. I guarantee parking meters now are going to have a bigger screen just so they can say, and a few more questions.
Yep.
And then while you're answering all the fucking questions, you get stabbed on the street.
Easy.
Who wins? Nobody.
Are the cops gonna want you to tip them too after you get stabbed and they come and fucking shoot the guy in the face who stabbed you?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, that'll, just a couple of questions about my performance here today.
Real quick before I help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the paramedics on the way, they're fucking flying you in the back of an ambulance and they're just like, all right, before I administer this painkiller for your fucking wounds, would you, how am I doing?
Yeah, they have like the paper that's like, sign off your emergency contact that you're authorizing that we can perform this on you. And last page right there, if you could just check mark 10, 15, 20, custom. Or, I mean, none if you really.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay.
None?
Kind of saving your life here.
I wonder if we just ran out of that medicine.
You know what? And it's like, will that be a kind of a thing? Favoritism on that.
We've done a lot of Redband Stradamus moments on this podcast.
We have.
And I really think the stuff we're talking about now, we're laughing about it because it's absurd.
Yeah.
But I really think if you come across a parking meter and it asks you for a tip, send it in because I'm like waiting for the day.
Yeah.
At this rate.
Yeah. It's going to happen, dude. And I don't know. So what do you think? Here's the big one though.
Yeah.
It's not the big one, but it does make a difference, I think. So like, and you used to fucking do this. Didn't you used to do deliveries, food delivery?
I did.
Okay. That's where I'm headed. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that? Like, because I think you kind of do got to and it sucks because that's really expensive.
Yeah.
Like that's like way more than if you just went in there and took your own ass to the damn place.
Yeah.
But like with the food delivery thing, I think it's pretty clear that your shit's probably going to get picked up more efficiently, better, and kept in a better condition if you tip better.
Yeah.
But also like that's a pretty decent service there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for that one, I can totally see the tipping behind it because one, this person, I don't know, like, let's say a Domino's worker. I don't know what a Domino's delivery person gets as their base pay.
Sure.
But I can tell you that at the end of the day, a delivery person's still using their own vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's their gas, it's the wear and tear on their vehicle.
Yeah.
And you could say time and you might say, well, they're on the clock anyway, so that time is company time.
Sure.
Okay. But gas is fucking expensive.
Fucking
You want to get an oil change, that's expensive.
Yep.
Wear and tear on your tires, those are expensive. So definitely tipping these delivery workers for sure.
Yeah.
And just speaking from the DoorDash side of things, I'm glad you brought that up because I like completely spaced that I ever did that.
I know. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, like I know DoorDash. What's nice about that though, at least, is that you can see the tip up front.
Right.
So if someone's like, hey, go pick up my McDonald's order for me and my 30 kids.
Right.
And here's $1 tip in total. You're making $3 on that. You got me fucked up.
Right.
And at least then you can say, nah,
I'm good.
I'm good off that.
Yeah.
So that's what's nice about a service like that is you have the choice of being like, no, that's clearly a shitty tip.
Right.
No, thank you.
Right.
And then I've even had some people who will tip in the app and they'll actually even leave still a cash tip.
Okay.
And that's nice. That's
like
a really
that.
nice feeling.
Yeah.
Cause you can clean up. You can have some pretty good nights with that. So I think like delivery drivers for sure. I've always tipped like pizza delivery and all that. I've always tipped. So I think that's just one of those ones. But I do want to ask you about coffee.
Yeah.
Because that's a big one.
Yeah.
That one, you got your Starbucks, $6 for a little tiny sippy cup of a coffee, and then to tip on top of that.
Yeah.
It's that one. I think is like it's that awkward middle ground.
Yeah.
Where I think you're gonna have the most people butting heads potentially.
Yep.
Because on the one hand, like that person's not waiting on you.
Right.
They're not refilling your coffee. They're not checking in on you. Like you go, you pick it up. For the most part, if you leave, you're done. Like that's the exchange. So in that instance, it's like, well, is tipping, all that necessary?
Right.
And especially if you're just going in and getting like a basic ass regular coffee, black cream, sugar, the basics.
Classic.
Yeah. If you're getting the super deluxo, like I used to get the s'mores frap.
Boy.
Bless.
And
that's a summertime treat right there.
Oh, it
the
is.
S'mores frap.
Oh, it is.
Then, okay, because that's a little bit of extra razzle dazzle.
Right.
Or if you're ordering one of their microwavable breakfast sandwiches,
Right.
I guess a little more work is involved for sure.
Right.
But what do you think about that? The coffee industry.
Yeah, that's a tougher one. And you know what? Like, as we're talking about this, I'm just reminded that Starbucks is probably another company that should be paying their workers like just more. Like
Right.
just pay them more, dude. Like just or a Dutch Brothers or some shit. Like you guys can pay. And that might also have a thing. That might also have a difference for me. Like if I go to a local coffee shop,
Right.
I might be more inclined to tip a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the little tiny mom and pop shop.
I might throw it down.
Yeah.
Because I might even know the owners.
Yeah, for sure.
I might even know, the people who work there. It's a small crew. Everyone's just trying to do their best. Everyone's having a good time. But at Starbucks, dude,
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I struggle with that. And like, I don't know if I'm always tipping at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me like for some reason, there's one place that I feel like I never fucking tip at.
Yeah.
And that's when I would go to Tropical Cafe.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I don't know. For some reason, when it comes up there, it's a smoothie place.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of similar to the idea on the coffee.
Yeah.
It's just a smoothie place. It's a bunch of shitty teenagers who work there.
Yep.
I'm just like, I'm not, and it's always, and I think they're the ones who are just, okay, it's just going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know you see this.
Yeah.
No. So I think though, like with the coffee one, I think that's where I'm landing. I'm landing like if it's a local mom and pop, I'm probably a little more inclined.
Yeah.
But if it's Starbucks, like just pay your workers more, dude.
Yep.
Just pay your workers more. Starbucks, McDonald's, like all these fucking places, they should be making like 15 to 16 an hour.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, the minimum wage at an In-N-Out in California was $15 an hour.
Wow.
And that was a while ago.
Right.
So who knows what it is now? And I
Right.
mean, obviously, cost of living in California is astronomical. It's impossible to even just survive out there. I get it. But I think that that's what these places should be doing is like paying these people decently, especially these big ass like Starbucks where you're charging movie theater concession prices for a damn coffee.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Shout out to, we're talking about local. Shout out to Russ's Gold, local coffee shop in town.
out.
Tipping them, absolutely.
Right. Right.
That's just a local, one location.
Mom
absolutely.
and poppy.
Grassroots. Yeah.
Greg. I love grassroots.
Me too.
It's like the best descriptor.
It is.
It's the best adjective.
Grassroots. You just picture somebody working
Yeah.
hand and foot. Is that the
Yeah.
hand and knees?
Hand and foot. I think.
hand over foot? I don't
Hand
know.
over
something.
fist.
Hand. Yeah, what does that mean? Hand
I don't
over.
know. Yeah.
What does that even mean? Hand over fist. I'm working hand over fist for you.
Yeah, dude. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything like that. Like, I'm definitely in there. Shout out Rust is Gold.
Yep, for sure. And you mentioned the smoothie place. It's the same thing when I do like my juices. Mm-hmm. My juices.
You juicies.
So that's such a pretentious, luxurious. I rarely do it because I
But
would
you
just
got to do the juices.
make my own. But like today, for example,
Yeah.
it's run and gun.
Yeah.
I've got a lot going on. So making my own juice is going to be like, I don't have time for
It's
it.
not
today.
happening.
So I'm going to buy one. And you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right when I do it on my phone, it's going to prompt me for a
Right.
tip. And I'm going to tip.
So here's one random place that I think they're not doing it yet, which is surprising. It's surprising. And honestly, I would maybe tip.
Okay.
I would maybe do it. The movies.
Oh, yeah.
The movies. Because you said movie concession stand.
Yeah.
Those concessions are stupid.
Ridiculous.
But just because I love the theater, I might do it.
Okay.
For the little guy.
For the little guy.
For the little guy.
To keep the theater up, that's where they make their money, truly, is concessions.
Yes.
Can you imagine, though, the guy who like scans your phone now for your ticket and he goes, beep. Oh, real quick. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
no.
which theater you're in just a moment, right after you answer this question
Yeah.
here on the screen. Just real quick. Just real fast.
It's like you can't even, like, if you want to find out where your theater is, you have to do tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just like, yeah, I can't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna have to find it yourself now.
And you're like, I can just look up
Yeah.
at that big screen up there that tells me where my movie's showing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's definitely one place I haven't seen yet, obviously, but it's coming.
I mean,
Gas
like,
station.
Yeah. Oh, gas station.
Yeah.
You know what'd be cool is if they started doing that thing again where like the person fills it up for you.
Sure. I'll take it.
I would. I hate, like, it's such an inconvenience filling up with gas.
Right?
I hate the whole song and dance.
I'd be kind of down.
It'd be cool to just pull up. All right, yeah.
Hook it up.
Yeah, 15,
And then he'll hit you with that.
Yeah. And then you go, you know what? Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I don't
be
have to
like,
get
I
out of my
got
car
you.
and do this.
Like a guy at Home Depot or something hasn't,
Yeah.
He's hopefully not gonna. But sometimes you want to, okay, like, and there's some places that I feel like they don't let you accept tips. Like, I feel like when you, I don't know, I'm trying to remember. I feel like when you help someone out to their car with some stuff,
Yeah. With the groceries or.
I feel like they tell you not to take a tip.
Well, when I worked at the gym, we weren't allowed.
Right.
They were like, hey, if anyone ever tries to tip you, you can't accept it.
And that's bullshit.
And that's bullshit.
But one day, very soon, the guys at the gym are going to be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, and we're almost finished signing you up here, Mr. Johnson. If you could just sign that there and just fill out a couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, Mr. Johnson, the last time you were here, you took a huge shit and I had to clean it up.
Yeah.
So maybe
Maybe.
throw me a tip.
Exactly.
So, but that's an interesting concept. Like, I also don't know if I understand that because it's like, that's also kind of absurd. If someone wants to willingly give you a tip,
And you have to say no.
why?
Right.
Like, why?
Why not? Why can't I take that tip? I'm working my ass off for shitty pay, by the way.
Yeah.
At least my position.
So another one where ethically, because I'm thinking of jobs where you're not supposed to take tips, and this is an ethical matter,
Yeah.
but it'll be funny if one day we get to that point. If we did, it would be totally ethics, our ethics and values as a fucking, society will be going way down. But like therapy,
Yeah. Yep.
it's like at the end of your therapy session, your therapist is like, all right, man, so if you
Yep.
think that's a good session, like maybe you throw me a couple tippy tip.
They're always cutting it shorter and shorter too. They're like, you know what? We're running low on time.
Yeah.
Let's just do what we got here.
Yeah.
You could just fill that out for me.
your doctor, a psychiatrist, you know, they're just like, all right, so, and you're not supposed to, right? Like there's an ethical issue there. Like people shouldn't be, you know, doing stuff like that. It crosses a boundary. But one day, maybe,
yeah.
Maybe I actually will become a therapist if that's the case. Shit.
Yeah, right? Why not? God
Why the
bless.
fuck not?
Charge an arm and a leg and then tip on top of that. What about like performers, like a comedian? If afterwards he was like, thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to pass around this screen. If each of you could just, there's a real quick survey on that. If you could just let us know what you thought of the show. And then at the end, there's the tip.
So some shows I've done they
really?
do the tip method.
Do they really?
Yes.
Wow.
I've been on many a show that do the tip method.
Okay.
You know, they really will. Now that's usually if there's not a cover charge, you know?
And yeah, and I think like definitely local comedians who are doing small little shows and coffee shops and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, because they're making nothing.
Yeah.
You know, to go and do that. And they're just trying to come up and to put the show on. It probably costs a fee. So like, but I mean, I feel like that's where the cover charge comes in.
Right.
You know, $10 to get in. Boom.
And you're talking about like if Dave Chappelle handed around around a fucking screen.
Yeah.
To tip. Theo Vaughn is like fucking.
Can you imagine if we had like a paywall for our podcast?
Right.
And we're like, thanks for listening to the show. Or like maybe 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you want to listen to the rest, please tip now.
Right. Maybe we should. Estevan, that's not a bad idea.
I know.
It's just our moms. They're just like, here you go, honey.
Loved the show this week.
Love the show. They're like, this is instead of your like allowance, we'll just pay for your podcast.
God, that's a thing I could never fathom. I never got an allowance.
Yeah, me
Growing
neither.
up, I never had one.
What's that?
What is that?
That's not anything I'm familiar with.
Yeah. I allow you to live. That's what it's.
Yeah. I allow, you know what? Is there a roof over your head?
Yeah, right.
Is there food in your stomach? Okay, then.
Then
You're good.
You have been allowed.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. We live in a society.
We sure do.
do.
Society, the most society that has ever societied.
Ever.
All the most society of all time.
All days.
So I don't know. What do you all think about tipping?
Yeah.
It's definitely called for in some industries. I tip my haircut guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a tattoo artist.
Tattoo artist.
Tip your tattoo artist.
Definitely tip your waiters who are refilling your drinks. And bringing you all the ranch that you could ever want.
You gotta have the ranch.
Gotta have the ranch, man. And I was a ranch fiend. Well, I'm just a dipping kind of guy in general.
You're a dipper.
I love dipping.
Yeah.
And some of these places start skimping though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You guys do samples before you bring me the actual sauce, or what's up with this?
Yeah.
This is more cup than sauce.
This is more cup than sauce.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of where we are.
That's the perfect metaphor for our world right now. Our world is more cup than sauce.
We live in a world that's more cup than sauce. I could just picture the coolest guy in the world just saying that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like just fucking, you know, smoking a damn cigar.
Matthew McConaughey.
All
right. This world's more cup than sauce.
It's so good. Oh God, that's like worthy of adding to the intro of the podcast. Like straight up. Like,
I'll do it. I'll add it in for this next episode.
People will think we'll have McConaughey. Yeah. They're like, how'd they get McConaughey?
It's like, no way, when's that episode?
What?
I'll tip for that episode.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, I don't know. I think that's it.
I think that's, you know,
that's all she wrote.
Unless you want more, then you're gonna have to tip.
You're gonna have to tip. That's all she tipped.
That's all she tipped. This is the part of that's free.
Mm-hmm.
If you tip, you can listen to Estevan do McConaughey for another hour.
Yeah, that's all. And that's an experience in itself.
It is.
You can call in and have me say stuff. I'll do a cameo
Yeah,
Or I
yeah,
wish you a
yeah.
happy birthday as Matthew McConaughey.
You'll do just audio cameo.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Voicemails.
Yeah, just voicemail cameos.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tipping and hanging around.
Yeah.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and tip.
Yep.
and let us know what you think about this whole tipping business, because it's I'm very curious to see what all the different opinions are about it.
Absolutely.
Certain industries. But I suppose until next week, everybody, we will see you all around.
See you around.